Hello, welcome to Unacademy and welcome to class. For 2 more minutes, as the title suggests, we will be learning about how to access a position, methods used for this files. Time to be very good evening, everyone. Sound safe. Welcome. Let's crack an academy, the channel which helps you track 11th science examination, 12th science board examination. Wherein you get opportunity to learn with the top educators, assured quality and great learning experience via this online platform. A brief self introduction prior to hello, I am a teacher by profession, over 4 years, various subjects in graduate. With Unacademy, I'm excited to provide an inspiring learning experience to all the students via this online platform. So, as the title suggests, you have an idea of what we are going to do. So, we have been dealing with files for the last couple of classes. Today, we're talking about how to access a random position file while programming Python. So, we'll be looking into the various methods and a few sample programs illustrating how to access randomly Python. So before moving on to the lessons, let us have a small tour over Unacademy and its features. So as you all know, Unacademy has grown out to be India's largest e-learning platform. So the growth is not just because of the reason of pandemic, but also for the reason that it provides courses for a school-going student, CBSE school-going student, to an aspirant who is preparing for the competitive exam. So this is like a one-stop destination for all the category of people that I have just mentioned. Now, to enjoy the features or the resources of an academy, all you need to is have Get a Plus subscription and access all the resources. That is unlimited live and recorded courses from the best educators of an academy, since it has been offering such courses, has turned out to be the most happening. So the iconic subscription for the CBSE platform. Now, this would help your CBSE preparation to a better level or to a next level with the help of a personal mentor, wherein you get one-on-one guidance from the top experts who will be acting as your mentor. Yes, very good evening, Devika. Welcome to us. You get one-to-one guidance from the top experts as your personal mentor. So this personal mentor would be top experts from and he or she would help you align learning strategy for you based on a customized study plan and also would be helping you to resolve all your academic. Now there is a parent connect wherein you would have regular open hours for the parents to discuss about the performance of his or her with the and the parent also would be receiving a progress report perspective of these. Now, there is also a live doubt solution wherein the student can attend exclusive doubt solving classes with the best educators. Now, they would help you to solve your subject doubts, get a customized study plan. This is how progress could be tracked. Now, once you take an iconic subscription, you get as a bonus all the features of a subscription. So the iconic subscription, it starts with the subscription fee 2,333. So next, the features of a subscription. Now this is something that is familiar. So wherein you have a for daily live classes. In the live classes, you get an opportunity to chat with the educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, answer via phone. Now, all the facility while the live class is going on. Okay. Now, all the courses offered here are structured and in line with the current syllabus. So, this would help you to prepare for the examination better. Now, there are live tests and quizzes which would help you to evaluate your preparation with regular mock test and also get a detailed analysis on your performance. Back to So, unlimited access. How can you enjoy the unlimited access? Once you get a subscription, you get access to all the live and recorded courses which could be watched at the comfort of your time as well as the comfort of your device. So to enjoy the features, as I told you, you need to avail for the subscription. The plus subscription, this would help you to access the resource and the resources which can be viewed comfort of the time as the the device. So you needn't worry if you miss out a live session because the same can be viewed in recorded version. Now the class 12th plus subscription starts with 1250. Okay. Now the look and feel of how the live sessions as well as the recorded or the upcoming sessions would look like. You would have the live button indicator indicating when a session is going on live, and also there would not be an indicator for the sessions that are either the recorded versions or the ones that are going forecasted again. The forthcoming classes. Now, all these things you can enjoy once you have installed the Unacademy app. Now, this is how the comprehensive syllabus would like. You would have the different subjects, and underneath each of the subject, you would be having the various courses that are being offered by the best educators all over India. Now, this is how the look and feel of the school going student would be. So you may go and click on the courses offered by the educators and watch them according to your requirement and study for the. Now, what's the first thing that you need to get access to the app? If you're trying to access via your smartphones, you have to download the Unacademy Learning app. I repeat, it is the Unacademy Learning app that you need to download and install in your smartphone. Okay. So once you have the app installed in your smartphone, you have to select the goal. So you being class 12, CBSE class 12 students, your goal would be CBSE class 12. Since you are preparing for the 12th board exam. Now, once you select the goal, and then you can select the subscription based on the choice that now, apart from the app, there is a Telegram channel too. Now, all you need to do is for the access to the Telegram channel, you should have the Telegram app installed in your smartphones and see the link here that is being provided, that is Quest 12 CBSE Commerce. So, you have to type the link in the URL as shown in the figure, then join in the channel. Okay. Moving on. So, as I told you, once you have the app downloaded in your and then that you have selected the goals. This is the goal that you have to select. You see, and now you would be redirected to subscription plans that are available. So based on your choice and based on the plan that suits you better, you may choose it, either the plus subscription or the iconic subscription. Now I have discussed the features about both the subscription in the beginning of the slides. So based on your choice, it can be selected, and then you would be redirected to the subscription wherein if you're choosing the plus subscription, now these are the plus subscription plans with respect to class 12 students, now ranging from a 3-month plan to a full year subscription. That is, you have a 3 month, 6 month or 12 month. Now based on the plans, across each of the plan is shown the subscription fee details also. So a 3-month subscription would cost you around 6,500, a 6-month around 10,000, and a full year subscription on the plus version would around 15. But if you apply the promo code SLYT, I repeat, to use the promo code SLYT, you get a 10% discount or fee waiving on the subscription. So the 3-month subscription get reduced to 5,850. Now similarly, the same 10% deduction can be seen in all the below plans. So do not forget, the code is SLYT. Yes, Gokul, very good evening. Welcome to the class. Now the details with respect to the iconic subscription. Now the different plans are either a half year subscription plan or a full year subscription plan, and the subscription fee are also being listed across each of the. Here again, if you use my promo code SLYT, you again get a 10% discount on the Unacademy subscription fee. So the half year subscription, it would cost you around 15,300, and a 12-month subscription gets reduced to 25,200. Okay. So do not forget, this is the referral code that can help you in getting the 10% discount. Also, if you are trying to access via the desktop, and then if you have difficulty in unlocking Unacademy app's free content, you may use the code SPSL or SLYT to unlock the free content from the Unacademy. So these are the referral codes. Now, I told you apart from the YouTube channel, there is an app running and how to install it. So there are free classes, I mean special classes, which could be without any payment of fees. To have a look at, watch those classes or listen and study from those, you may please use these codes. Either of these codes would do to unlock the free content from the Unacademy. That's all about myself and then Unacademy. Moving on to the agenda of the day. So as you all know, we have been dealing with CBSE Class 12th Computer Science, and today the topic that we will be the random file access. So these would be the contents that we'll be covering in today's lesson. What exactly is the meaning of random file access, followed by the methods that are used for random file access. Okay. Now, let's have a small recap of what we have learned with respect to the text files. Okay, so we have learned some methods for reading from the text file, isn't it? What were the methods that we learned? We learned the read method, okay, which had the syntax where you access using the file handle. So file handle dot the method. Now, while reading the function, what was read used for? For reading the at most n number of bytes, and if the bytes are not specified, the entire contents of the file, you could read using the method. Okay. Now, what were the other reading functions that you learned, the methods that you learned? Read line and as well as read lines. Okay. Read line meaning reading a single line of input, and read lines which help you to read all the lines in one go. But the difference between the read and read lines method is that in the case of read lines, it is being returned as a list. I mean, the entire content of your file is getting returned as a list rather than as a string, isn't it? This was a difference. So how many functions did we learn with respect to reading from the text files? Three methods, namely read, line, and lines. Now, apart from this, we also learned the functions for writing onto the text files, right? Which were the functions? Write and write lines. Okay. So, if you had to write a particular string onto the file, you use the method write. And if you had to write all strings in list, in a particular list, which is being stored in a list, in that case, you use the method write line. Now, all the functions or all the methods that we learned with respect to reading as well as writing, I mean all the file operations with respect to the text files, what happened? They were all working sequentially. Sequentially meaning from the point when you're opening the file in the read or the write mode, pointer is by default at the starting position, isn't it? So sequentially in the order in which it is appearing. So this was the order in which file pointer was moving and then return contents to the user or the program. Now that we are going to learn the method which helps you to access the contents of the file randomly. So that means you can traverse your file and then reach any particular position, and from that position you can start reading or then writing. Now, how is this possible in actually Python? Two methods differ for the random access functionality, and the methods are namely seek and tell. What are the name of the methods? Can tell. I repeat, they are again methods and not functions. Okay. So what are we going to do? We are going to alter the sequence. I mean, it was usually the functions that were working with the files always work sequentially. And now that we are trying to access the contents of the file randomly. So the first method is the seek method. The seek method can be used to position the file object at a particular place in the file. The idea clear? What exactly is going to be done? You are trying to position the file object at a particular place. What is the file object or the file pointer? Now it is from where the reading or writing be performed. So what is the meaning of the file pointer? So it will be like, the pointer would be something like this. Now this pointer, imagine that this is your file. The third bullet is your file. And if you're trying to open the file in the read or the write mode, where would the file pointer be? At the very beginning, right? Which is the first character. F is your first character in the file. Now the pointer would be just front of F. Just front of the very first character or the first index value, which is the idea clear. Seek method, what does it use for? It is used to position the file object. So by default, when you open the file, it would be in the very beginning of the file. And if you have to move it to a particular position, you can do it with the help of seek method. The idea clear? So it is used to position the file object at a particular place. So it is used to change the position of the file object to a specific position. So it is not only that you can place the cursor or place the file pointer to a particular position. Using the seek method, you can actually traverse through contents. Okay, and then you can thereby changing the position of the file object. Or the file pointer defines from where the data has to be read or written in the file. Now, since we have learned the definition or what exactly the seek method is, now that we are going to learn the syntax of seek. As per the syntax, the seek method, it is a method, so it has to be accessed using an object. Now, this would be accessed using which object? The file object. Idea clear? So, this would be accessed using the file object. So, file object dot seek, and the seek method would take two arguments. The first one is your mandatory argument, which is the offset value, and the second one is the from what value, which is an optional argument. Is the idea clear? So offset is a mandatory argument, and the one that is being indicated in the square bracket is actually the optional argument, isn't it? So offset is used to calculate the position of the file object in the file in bytes. Okay. So I mean, how many positions has it to traverse and then place the file point? This is what offset value is indicating. So it would exactly give you the position. So usually a number, and this number is actually telling you the position in bytes, or how many values bytes has to be burst. So it is in this way that the position is calculated for positioning your file in bytes. Why? Because the content of your file is going to be characters, and each character is taking how many bytes? 1 byte, isn't it? Each character is associated with 1 byte of storage. So this is the reason we have defined the offset like. So it is used to calculate the position of the file object in the file in bytes, and then offset is added to from what reference point to get the exact position. Now I told you that the offset value is actually a number which indicates how many positions you have to traverse in the file, isn't it? Now, from what indicate? The little meaning is from where, from what, or from what position, isn't it? Now, this is a reference point. So it is based on this reference point that the offset is finding its exact position inside the file. So you needn't worry if this is getting a little confused. We'll be looking into a table wherein what each of the from what values indicate. Okay, and then so that the syntax would be a little more clear to you. And as I told you, offset is also a number, and this number indicates the number of characters or the number of bytes that the file pointer has to traverse. Okay, so moving on. So this is the table that I have been indicating in the previous slide. The reference point is nothing but from where the calculation has to happen with respect to the. Okay, so the reference point defined from the from what and see the from what argument can take any of the three values that are being shown here. So the value can be either 0, 1 or 2. The idea clear? So the reference point is defined from the from what argument, and you know that the from what is appearing as the second argument peak method, and the table shows the different values, and based on each value it is showing you the reference point. Okay, now if it is 0, the second argument, if it is 0, it indicates that at the beginning of the file, that where should be your reference point? The reference point is by default from the beginning of the file. Now it is which is by default. Now what does that mean? Now we know that this from what argument is optional. So even if you have not written from what argument, it is not going to be here. Now if you have omitted this, what would be taken? 0 value would. Now what does 0 indicates? To access from the beginning of the file, isn't it? Now there are other options also. The values can be either 1 or 2. 1 indicating the current file position and 2 indicating at the end of the file. Now that we need to understand these two values, 1 and 2, will not be working with the files which are opened in text file mode. Rather, it has to be opened in the binary mode so that such positions or such references could be accessed. So when you're working with text files which are opened in the text mode, okay, text mode in the sense like R, W, A and the plus versions of the, in that case, even if you, whether you have mentioned it or not, which is the default value to be taken? The default value would be 0. Okay. Now, the next thing with respect to offset. Now, the offset value can be either positive or negative. Now, what exactly is offset telling you? It is giving you a count of the number of characters or bytes for the traversal, isn't it? So, if the offset value is a positive integer, it indicates that the traversal has to be done in the forward direction. File pointer would be moving in the forward direction, and if this particular value is negative, it indicates the traversal in the reverse direction or in the backward. The idea clear? Now these are the features or the things to be noted with respect to your seek method. What are they? The syntax. Prior to the syntax, what was it used for? For positioning your file object at a particular place, randomly at any place inside your file. Now, to use the seek method, the syntax should be understood. The syntax says the file object dot seek file object dot seek, and the seek method can have two arguments, in which the first argument is offset and the second one is the from what value, wherein the offset is the mandatory argument and from what or the second argument is optional. Okay. And offset, it indicates the calculation of position of the file object in the file environment. And offset is added to from what or reference point to the exact position. Now to understand the from what values, we have learned a small table. Just a second, let me. Now the reference point is defined from which argument? The second argument. What was the second argument? From what? Now this from what value can take any of the three values that are being shown in the table. It can be either 0, 1 or 2. Okay. 0 indicating the beginning of the file, 1 indicating the current file position, and 2 indicating at the end file. Isn't it? Okay, so these are the values with respect to your second argument in seek method, which was the from what value. So moving on to our, and we also discussed the different values for the offset. If it is taking a positive integer, that it is traveling in the forward direction, and if it takes a negative integer, it is traveling in the backward or in the reverse. Okay. So moving on to the next method, which is the tell. Okay, just a second. So the tell method. Now tell meaning, the little meaning itself indicates telling something, right? Now what does it tell us? It is a method which returns an integer. Okay, so again this is going to return an integer, and this integer would give you the current position of the file object in file. So the value or the number returned would tell you which is the current position of the file pointer in your file. The current position meaning it would specify the number of bytes from the beginning. Sorry. It would either indicate the number of bytes from the beginning of the file till the current position of the file object. Now the syntax of using the tell method is, yes Google, very good evening and welcome to class. Welcome to Let's Crack CBSE. So the syntax of using the tell method, file object dot tell. Now the same way how it to access the seek method. You had the file object dot the seek method, right? But see here, the tell method doesn't take any arguments. Instead, it would return a value. And what is the value that is returned? The value that returned is a number, and it indicates the number indicates this is the position. Okay? The number indicates a position number, and it is at this particular position that your file pointer is currently residing. Now, what would happen if you're opening a file in the fresh mode? Say if it is open for reading or writing, what would be the default position of your file pointer? Definitely at the beginning, isn't it? Imagine that this is your file and this is the beginning of your file. And imagine this red indicator as the file pointer. Now, where is this pointing to? This would point to the very beginning, isn't it? So, tell actually would give you the value. Why? Because it is pointing, it is just, I mean, the file pointer is currently at the very first character or the beginning of the file. Is the idea clear about tell method? Okay, so shall we move on? Now let us understand the seek as well as the tell method using small code fragments. Now imagine that I am having a text file by the name python.txt and see the contents of your python.txt. Good morning, comma, welcome to Unacademy. Now this is the content of your file. Now let's look into the program for illustrating the usage of tell as well as seek. Now you have opened your text file in the read mode. Okay, you have opened your text file python.txt in the read mode, and f is your file handle or your file object. Now what have I given? I have given print f.tell. What would f.tell? F.tell is a method invocation, right? Or calling a method. Now what is the name of the method? Tell. Now what does tell give you? Tell would give you a number, an integer. I'm sorry. Now what is the integer? Indicates the current position of the file object in the file, isn't it? So what does the tell method return? It's an integer, and this number would give you or tell you the current position of the file object file. So when you have opened the file in the read mode, where exactly would your file pointer be? The cursor would naturally be at the very first of the file or the beginning of the file, isn't it? It would be pointing to the first character or at the 0. So when I'm trying to print the position, see the value. It is returning a value, right? So the value would be printed on, that is C. Now I'm telling f.seek of 6. Okay. So when the file is opened in the read mode, your file pointer was here. Okay, that is at position 0. Now seek 6. Seek 6 meaning seek 6 positions and move your cursor or your file pointer there. Okay. So count here 1, 2, 4, 5. Spaces also would be counted 6. Okay. So now you have traversed how many characters? 6 characters. And where would your file pointer be? Here, just before. So when you have to print or start reading, what happens? Yes, Ritik, very good evening and welcome to Let's Crack CBSE and my. We have been looking into the random file access methods in Python. So we just looked into the different methods, the syntax, and we are having a sample program now to understand the positioning or moving of your file pointer randomly inside the file. So f.tell, the tell method would give you the current location or the place, the position where your cursor or the file pointer is inside the file. And f.seek, it is actually used to place your cursor or file pointer to the particular position. So I have opened a text file in the read mode. Now F is my file handle. So it is using the file handle that I'll be accessing the methods. Now f.tell, it would give you where exactly is your file pointer now. So f.tell, when it is opened fresh, definitely your file pointer would be here, isn't it? That means in the very beginning. Okay, so what would be the position? 0. So if you're trying to print the value printed would be 0. Now f.seek of 6. Okay, you just have one argument. And what would be the argument? It would be the mandatory argument. The mandatory meaning the offset value. Now what does the offset value indicate? 6 indicating 6 bytes or 6 characters, isn't it? So what would happen from the beginning? It would move 6 characters and then place the cursor after the 6th character. So see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The spaces are counted and then the space is also a character and then here 6. Now after counting the 6 character, this next position is seeked and your cursor or your file pointer is placed there. The idea clear? Now what is the next operation to be done? You have to read the content. Now when you are attempting to read, see it is a read function with no arguments. So what does it indicate? From the position where your file pointer is currently in till the end of your file. This is how you get this output. So I hope tell and seek methods are clear to you now. Okay, moving on. Let's see another function. Another sample program which would help you understand this. Now here instead of writing as a program, we have used an user defined function. What is the name of the function? File underscore seek underscore fun. Okay. Now you have written the illustration of seek and tell here, and then you have invoked the function in your main program. This is how you have invoked. Okay. So the actual execution, where would it start from? It would start from here. So this statement is a function invocation. So the function would be called. So control would be transferred to the point where it is defined. That is here. So file underscore seek underscore fun. Now what are the things to be done inside the function? You need to open the file. Which file? The text file in the, and your file handle is F. Okay. Now the file handle F dot the seek method and 7 is your argument. What would happen? It would, when you're opening python.txt, it would, the file pointer would be primarily in the beginning, very beginning of the file. That is at the location 0, isn't it? Now that you need to traverse 7 characters, what would happen? See, this is your python.txt. Okay, your cursor was primarily here, and now seeking how many values? 7 values, right? So count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your cursor is going, file pointer is going to be okay. So this is how seek works. Now in this case, the second argument or from what value is not specified. So since it is not specified, your default value is taken, which is your default value 0, isn't it? So when the value is 0, it always indicates seeking from the beginning of file. So the reference point, it is always taken as the beginning of file. So just a second. Back to okay. Now f dot read. Okay. Now f dot reading means read actually would read the entire contents from the position where your file pointer is currently in. And then value would be stored in f underscore data, and now we are attempting to print it. So what would happen? From R, the entire contents of your file would be printed on. So f.seek of 7 keeps the file pointer at the 8th position and reads the file content from the 8th position onwards till you reach the end of file, or EOF. This is what has happened right now. Okay. Now, reading according to the size. So, in the input function, if you specify the number of bytes, that many number of bytes can be fetched and assigned to the identifier. So, the input function meaning the reading function, right? So, in that read method, if you are specifying the number of bytes, only that many number of characters would be read from the file and then printed on. See here, the same function and the same program that we have seen in the previous slide, but the only difference is instead of reading the entire content, now that I am going to byte, one byte indicating I would be reading just one character from the file. Okay. Now before reading this, you need to understand where is your file pointer currently. So you have opened your file python.txt. In which mode? In the read mode. This is the text file mode, which is the read. Okay. And F is your file handle. Now, where would be the file pointer currently? When you have opened the file, it would be at the very beginning, isn't it? From that, you are asked to seek 7 bytes or 7 characters and then move forward. Okay, so what would happen? This is your content, okay, and your file pointer is currently here at the very beginning. The file pointer is here at the very beginning, and then it would travel 7 characters, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, and then your pointer is here, isn't it? File pointer is here, and from there you are attempting to do the read operation, but how many bytes? Just 1 byte. And you see from the file it is just this character that you would be reading. What is it? R. Now f underscore data would have the value or the character R, and then that would be on the. Is the idea clear? So you can have a slice content or the entire content based on the argument that you would be passing on the read method. Okay. So after read of 1, it will read a single byte or character starting from the byte number 8, and hence the byte number 8 is R. So one character or byte is fetched and assigned to where F is the identifier that you have to find. Now let's see another example here. We have a file, the same file, which is it? Python.txt. So we'll be looking into all the examples with our primarily defined file, which is text file, which is python.txt. And I hope you remember the contents also. Now that we are opening the file in which mode? Read mode. Again, this is the text file mode, and F is your file handle. F.3. So the file pointer when you're opening the file would be primarily at the very beginning of the file. From this position, 3 characters, the file pointer would seek 3 characters and then place itself after the 3rd character or just before the 4th character. From there, you would be reading 5 characters. So f.read. So this is your python.txt. So primarily when you open the file, your cursor or the file pointer would be here. Now you are seeking 3 characters. So that means 1, 2, 3, and now that your file pointer is here. Okay. F.read of 5. So that means reading operation has to be done, and whatever be the contents, that characters have to be printed on screen. Now how many characters would be read? Only 5 characters. Since the argument of read method is 5, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is your sliced. Starting with from D till this would be printed on. Now see here, f dot seek of 2. Now, where would your file pointer currently? Actually, after seeking 3 characters and then reading 5 characters, so 3 plus 5, 8, and it is actually after the 8th character that your file pointer has to be there, isn't it? But when I'm calling seek, what actually happens? The second argument is not being shown here, isn't it? And I also told you that if the second argument was optional and if the value is omitted, which is a default value that would be taken 0. What is 0? 0 indicates from the beginning, isn't it? So what happens when you are trying to invoke the seek method again, and though you are passing 2, it is not actually 8 plus 2. Instead, from the beginning, it would be traversing character. Now see here, after that you are trying to read. In this read, you are trying to read the entire contents, isn't it? So let me erase these. Actually, your file pointer was here. What would you assume? From here to positions, it would be moving. No, it is not like that. What happens is seek only the offset value is being shown. From what value is the default value 0. So that means your file pointer would be at the very first position or at the 0th index. So it is from here that the 2 characters would be, that means G and O, and then your file point. And then if you're trying to read the entire contents of the file, so this is the one that would be the idea clear. Now that I have given a print statement wherein I am printing f.tell. Now what is f.tell? F.tell would give you the current position where your file point. So what happens? After reading the entire contents, actually your file pointer is here just after the very last character of the file. So since the file had 35 characters and now that file, the position of your file pointer is 35, which indicates that it is the file pointer is placed after 35 bytes or after 5 characters. Okay. So what we understand here is we can seek from beginning only opened in the text. And this is another thing that you need to understand. See, in all these places, I have omitted the second argument. Okay. So since the second argument was omitted, it was by default taken to be 0. Now imagine you have opened your text file in the text access mode and then you are giving a value to your from what argument. Meaning you are giving the value for the second argument. Do you think that one indicating from the current position, isn't it? So from the current position, you have to move 2 characters forward since the offset value is positive. Now, when you are attempting to give a statement like this to a text file, which is opened in the text file mode, Python would cast an idea clear. So the problem is that in the latest versions of Python, the seek function always assumes from the beginning of the file if the file is opened in text. Okay? I'm not talking about what is a category of file, but I'm talking about the mode in which the file is opened. So what is a mode? Text. Now, if you have to use other variants of the from what value of the seek method, the solution is that you have to open the file in binary. Okay? You have to open the same file. That means the same text file. If it is opened in the binary mode, it can be overcome. What could be overcome? I mean the seek methods, different variants can be explored and okay. Now we'll take a few examples so that we would understand this better. Now have a look at this program. You're trying to open text file. What is the name of your text file? Python.txt. Now in which mode are you trying to open? You're trying to open in RB. Now this indicates the binary access, isn't it? Now I have given printf.tell. What would be the function returning? This function would give you the position where your file pointer is currently. Now when you have opened your file in the read mode, where would be your file pointer? At the very beginning, isn't it? So what would f.tell return you? Would return the position which your file pointer is, which is by default 0. Okay. Now I'm giving f.c of 3. What will happen? From this position, 3 characters would be traversed and your file pointer is position character. Now it's the same file. Now it is going to travel 3 characters, and now that your file pointer is here. And now if I'm trying to attempt to do the read operation and reading how many characters? Just 5 characters. 5 bytes indicating 5 characters. Now let's go back to the text file. So see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the sliced code. Starting from D till R. And then what have you done? You have included the f.read method invocation inside the print statement. So the strings, those strings would be printed onto the screen. And now if you are giving print the f.tell. Now what is f.tell? It would give you the current position of your file pointer. So the current position was 0. Then you had moved 3 characters. So the current position was 3. After that, you have read how many characters? 5 characters. So now that your value would be 8, isn't it? So what would f.tell return or print on screen? 8. So now it is at the 8th position, your file pointer. Now coming back to a program, f.seek of 2, comma. Now the second argument has come, isn't it? The second argument with respect to your seek method. Now, what does the second argument indicate? It indicates from what, isn't it? Now, when the from what value is 1, it indicates what? Current position of your file pointer, isn't it? So, it is the current position of the file pointer. So, wherever it is currently now, from there you need to traverse offset. Offset meaning 2 bytes. If I had not given the second argument, what would have happened? Again, your file pointer would have moved to the initial position, I mean the 0th position, and then from there 2 characters would be. But now that I have opened the file in the binary text mode, now your file pointer would be here, and seeking 2 characters means you are moving 2 characters from your current file pointer. The idea clear? Just before end. And from here you are trying to read 5 characters and printing on screen, meaning if as I am moving forward, traversing in the forward direction, show the position of the cursor. I mean, to show the position of the file pointer, I am actually drawing longer lines. So this is your current position. From this, you are trying to read how many characters? 5 characters. See here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, comma is a character. 4 space is a character. W again a character. So total we had 5. This would be printed on. Where is your cursor? Now see here you have a longer line here, and this is the current cursor position. And now you are attempting to print the current cursor position or the file pointer position. How would that be? So here it was 8. After that you traveled 2 more positions, so the value became 10. And now you have read 5 characters, and after the 5 characters is your cursor, is your file pointer. So now the value is 50. Is 50. The idea clear? And now f dot. Now when we learned the seek method, we learned that there are two arguments for the seek method. The first one was the mandatory and the second was optional. And we also saw that if you had to use a second argument other than 0, you could not be using it in the text file mode. Rather, the solution is if you're opening the file in binary, okay, and only then these values can be accessed. Now, the next thing that we need to notice, every time so far in all the examples that we have been looking into so far, we have been looking or writing only, using only positive values, positive integers for the offset. Now, since positive values were used, the traversal or the movement happened in which direction? It always happened in the forward direction. Okay. But if my offset value was negative, so from the current file pointer position, it would have traversed backwards or in the reverse direction. Now, what is negative indexing? We already learned it while we learned indexing, isn't it? In the strings, right from strings, we learned that indexing can happen in forward as well as backward direction. But when it was happening in the reverse direction, the indexing was negative. Now, the same concept is being carried over here. When you're traversing in the positive direction, what happens? You give the offset value to be positive, and if you're traveling in the negative direction, you give the offset values to. The second thing to be noted, the offset value is always an integer. So whether it be positive or negative, what you need to understand is this many number of bytes, this many number of characters. The direction is indicated by the sign, whether it is negative, the numerical or the magnitude would be the number of bytes. So these are the things to be noted with. Okay, so I hope this program is also clear to you. Now let's see one more. I mean, more or less the same program that we had seen in the previous slide. See here, again, I have opened my text file in which mode? Binary mode. So since I have opened it in the binary mode, I can have all the second arguments with respect to the method, isn't it? So print f dot tell. Now what would this give you? This would give you the exact position where your file pointer is. Since you have opened the file and then attempting to print f dot tell, the value would be 0. Then you are moving 3 characters. So it would be GOO as per our text file. Okay. Now that I'm going to read their content, what would happen? The entire contents would be printed on screen after reading 3 characters. So your file pointer was here. From here, the entire contents would. And where is your file pointer now? Here. That means at the 35th position. Then this would be. Now I am trying to seek. What am I trying to seek? 2 characters. In which direction? In the positive direction from the current file position. Okay. Now, which is your current file position here? Now, do you think you have any characters here? Right? So, when you're attempting to print, what is the result? The end result would be an empty string. Since you have reached the end of the file and no more characters could be. Now, you can modify this so that, see, if you're giving f dot seek of -2 or something like that, what would happen? It would be traveling in the negative direction, and the 2 characters, or I mean characters, it would travel the reverse direction, and from there it would be attempting to read 5 characters. Idea clear? But when you're doing the reading operation every time, it happens in the forward direction. It will only travel in the forward direction and not the reverse direction. Only using the seek methods first argument can you travel in the forward or the backward direction. Okay. So these are the things with respect to the random access L methods. So I hope this is how to. Actually, we have come to the end of today's session. Let me erase this off. So I hope this is clear to you. Today, what we have learned, to quickly sum up what we have learned today, we were learning the random file access and the random file access methods in Python, namely seek and tell. Now, all the things that we have learned so far, we only learned the sequential access, and by default, when you have opened your file, I mean, other than the append mode, your file pointer always resided at the beginning of your file, isn't it? What is the file pointer? It is nothing. It is just like a cursor, which is helping you to traverse through the contents of the file character by character, isn't it? So, random file access meaning you have some ability to position your cursor or the file pointer to some place in your file. I mean, any position inside your. Now, this was accomplished in Python using two methods, which were the methods seek and tell. Then we learned about the syntaxes for the methods. Each were methods, so they were accessed using the file object. So file object dot seek and file object dot tell. Now the seek method had two arguments. One was a mandatory one, the other was an optional one. In the mandatory argument, it was the offset value. That means the number of characters or number of bytes to be traversed. The offset value, if it was positive, it indicates the traversal in the positive direction, I mean in forward direction. And if the offset value was negative, it indicating the traversal in the backward direction. From what? That was your second argument. Now, it could assume three values, namely 0, 1, and 2, isn't it? 0 was your default value. Even if you have not mentioned, the value would be taken to 0. 0 indicating by default the starting or the beginning of the file. 1 indicating the current file position and indicating the end of the file. Now, if you had to explore these values of from what, the file had to be opened in which mode? Binary mode. The text files had to be opened in the binary. Okay, then with respect to tell usually gave you the current file, the position, isn't it? So it was used for calculating that. Current file position, file pointer positioning meaning where your file pointer is or how many, after how many bytes is your file pointer is starting from the beginning of your. These were the things that we say and also learned, went through of these programs so that this concept could be better. So with this, we have come to the end of today's session. And if there are any doubts, you may please post it in the comment section. I can wait for just one more minute. So I hope the concept is clear to all of you. It was rather a very easy concept with respect to this. Now the announcement. This is to bring to your notice that there is a doubt solving batch running for class 12th as well as for class 11th. Okay. Now, this would be helping you for your board examination preparation for the science batch students. The batch for the class 12 CBSE, it has commenced on 21st of December. and then it would be for a duration of 2. And this is the timetable with respect to by the best ed and the timing shown here. So it is included in the description also. You may please visit so that you can attend the doubt solving batches and get a better preparation for your forthcoming exam. Now, this is with respect to the class 12 students. Now, there is one more batch, the prime batch, which is running for class 11 students, the science batch, which would help them to prepare for the final examination better. Now, the prime batch also commenced on December 21st, 2020, but it will be running for a duration of 3 months, I mean till March 5th. And again, you have a timetable with respect to the prime batch, wherein you have the time slots for the different courses that are being offered by the best education. So please have a look at courses and do attend them so that you can score much better marks. I mean, more than 90 to 95%. Now, as I have already mentioned, other than the YouTube channel that is Let's Crack CBSE Science, Unacademy also has an app wherein you can have, other than the, I mean, if you do not have a subscription, then you are very new to the app and you want to free content in the sense the special classes that could be unlocked and watched without paying any fees. To unlock the free classes, special classes, you may please use this code SLYT, either SLYT or SPSL, all in capital letters. So using this code, you can unlock the free content and have a watch and listen to the classes. Okay. With this, we have come to session. So thank you all for joining and hoping to meet all of you in coming classes. So today, I mean, this is the last class in 20 for me. So wishing all of you advanced wishes. Hoping all prosperous year to come ahead. So before winding up, let me remind you of my code once more, SLYT, which would help you in getting a 10% discount on Unacademy subscription, Iconic as well as the Plus subscription. So if you are a class 12 student or 11 student, I highly recommend you to have a subscription so that it would help you in the preparation of your board examination as well as in the coming events. Okay. So with this note, we are winding up today's session. Very good night and advanced news. Thank you.